Hi, this is Arturo with the Cruz Group at the Keller Williams Realty. Thanks for joining us today. Well, today we're going to do a two-part video on the home buying process. I hope you can join us, and hopefully this information will be helpful to you when you're buying a house, either a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor. Let's see if we can click away here. Here we go, home buying process. The first step is, I guess that's why you're here. You already decided to purchase a home. That will be either condo, townhouse, or a single family. Okay. The next step will be to pretty much interview and select an agent. Hopefully it'll be me. I am a realtor licensed in Virginia, DC, and Maryland, and pretty much service all those three areas pretty well. The next step will be to, usually this would happen right when we meet up or right before our first meeting, is to determine what your purchasing power is, meaning speaking with your loan officer and figuring out what is the loan amount, what is the purchase amount that you can buy based on your income, your debt, and your the FICO score or the credit score. Those pretty much now these days there are the factors that will allow you to that will be the driving factors of you getting the type of loan that you're interested in. Okay, and after that, usually the mortgage company will give you a pre-approval letter. Pre-approval letter will specify the type of financing that you've chosen, the down payment that is associated with that financing, and then pretty much after that we'll determine what your wants and needs are, depending where you want to live, the location, the amenities of the property, and the type of property that you're interested in. It can be a townhouse, a condominium, or a single family. Once we do that, you review the listings with your agent. Now these days, we have three types of properties, or say three types of sales. One will be a regular listing, a short sale, and a foreclosure. Depending on the type of property the type of sale that you're interested in, that will be the process that will take from the time we write the contract on the time we go to settlement. And we can discuss that with me once we decide on the type of property that you're interested in. After that, we pretty much go ahead and set up the appointments so we can preview the properties. Now these days, about 80% of the properties are going to be occupied. So pretty much, and in some of them, because they're tenant occupied, it requires, some properties requires a 24-hour notice. So I will let you know about that once we start looking at homes. Once we go through that process and determine that we meet your criteria, we go ahead and make the offer. The offer, it's in Virginia, it's about a 21, 25 page document. And what I'd like to do is once we before we write the offer, sort of go over the offer documents with you, so you'll feel very comfortable with the documents when the time comes and submit the offer. In today's market, it is a possibility that you're going to get a counter or rejection of the offer. We've seen multiple offer submissions on properties, on listings out there. So it's pretty demanding or pretty busy market in now these days. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll make a winning bid and get the place. And after we do that, pretty much you're going to have what's called a ratified contract. A ratified contract pretty much says that your terms and conditions, the seller and you, the buyer, have agreed on the terms and conditions of the offer. Pretty cool, exciting. This is part one. So we'll take a pause right here and come back and join us for the step 2 of the home buying process. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Hi, this is Arturo again with the Cruz Group at Keller Williams Realty. This is part 2 of the home buying process. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll start this up quickly over here. After we get the ratified contract, there's a couple things that are going to happen. One is going to be a submission of the EMD, which it stands for the earnest money deposit. When the offer was submitted, there was a check that you provided to your agent, and that check usually is required to be deposited within 24 to 48 hours after you have a ratified contract. Then after that, you will be sending all your paperwork to your mortgage company or your bank, which it'll start up the formal loan application. Okay, we're talking about now these days, the bank is going to require, I think, pretty much 3 sets of documents: your pay stubs, bank statements, and tax returns. Depending on the bank, they may require, extra documentation for the loan to be approved. Okay. After that, based on what was written on on the contract, we're going to do home inspections, and that would be your general home inspection, a termite, and perhaps a radon inspection. Those 3 items, they are usually done within the first 7 days of the after the contract has been accepted or ratified, and then there will be, perhaps, if the contract allows it, will be some negotiations between you and the seller on the things that you want fixed in the house. In Northern Virginia, the contract is written or I should say, the property is sold as is, and pending on home inspections. Whatever art is found in the home inspections, and everything is pretty much up for negotiations at that point. Once that it's taken care of, negotiations are completed, then there's a very important pieces of the contract. One will be your financing and your appraisal contingencies. The financing, I should say, the appraisal pretty much is the first one, where the bank will send out someone to the property to determine that the sales contract price that the seller and you have agreed on is the market value of that property, and that's usually done within the first 14 to 21 days of once the contract is accepted or ratified. Subsequently, if there are issues with the value, then your agent or myself will be tell you the next steps that will have to take place in case there's any discrepancies, meaning that the appraisal value was below the contract price of the house. Okay. Right after that, after everything has been worked out, will be the file, as we call it, it gets submitted to the underwriting or final approval process, and that's again, that's usually in most banks they take between 21 to 30 days to get that completed. Okay. Right somewhere in between here, we have the title company. The title company is the entity who takes care of the paperwork required to transfer ownership to you. There's several steps that do take place, and please watch a video that I have on my YouTube channel that pretty much outlines the things that the title company will take care of for you. After the file has been submitted to underwriting, you're going to get what we call the final mortgage approval, and that's pretty close or a few days right before settlement. It's a pretty exciting event, and we send per the contract. We will be sending over a documentation to the seller stating that the contract has been, or the financing has been totally approved. Also very important, you must get hazard insurance. Hazard insurance, it's also, it goes by homeowners insurance, and pretty much what it does is it covers the dwelling of the property in case something was to happen, fire or something, an event like that. I recommend using your existing mortgage insurance company. Hopefully they have insurance coverage as well, assuming you have a vehicle, a car insurance. If not, we can certainly provide some referrals for you. Okay. My office will also be giving you the utilities, the companies that you as the homeowner now will be calling to transfer, to make a certain date effective. Usually the day of settlement will be the date that all the utilities get transferred to your name. Couple days before settlement, we're almost there. We'll be doing what is called the pre-settlement walkthrough. Pretty much we will just walk the property again, and that's usually the day of settlement, and to make sure, say, any agreed upon repairs that were agreed on, those were completed, and make sure that the property is still in the same condition that you found the last time you saw it. Right on the same day or right before that, we're going to get what we call the HUD-1. The HUD-1 is the statement where all your expenses are that accumulate to the total cash or the total expenses that you're going to need for the purchase of your house. Next step is final settlement. Final settlement, we certainly encourage to go ahead and take the day off from work if you can. It is a pretty exciting day for everyone, and certainly a lot of emotions and great emotions. You've gone through the process of buying a house first, if it's the first house you're buying. So we certainly recommend or encourage to take the day off, but we understand sometimes that's not possible. Okay, and pretty much after that we are moving. On the day of settlement, we provide, or the seller gives, in the keys and the keys to the house, keys to the mailbox, and also if the house has a garage, will be, and if they're in the remotes with the car garage, those will be given to you on that day. So it's a pretty exciting process. Hopefully we'll get to help you out here in the near future. We look forward to helping you out. Don't forget to call us if you have any questions at 571-295-8495. This is Arturo with the Cruz Group at Keller Williams Realty. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.